Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Before diving into the content of today's video, I'd like to share a summary of some basic knowledge about criminal psychology that everyone can easily understand. Let's explore together what goes on in the minds of serial killers and how twisted they can be. Enhancing our understanding of murderers can help us reduce crime. By studying brutality, we can strive to live more virtuously. First, I want to introduce the concept of the dark triad. I'll temporarily translate it as the triad of dark personalities. This is a psychological and personality theory that first emerged in 2002, developed by two psychology professors. It represents the three ugliest personality types in society: individuals who are likely to cause discomfort and harm to those around them. People with these three personality traits can be considered inherently bad, born with malicious tendencies rather than shaped by external factors. The first personality type is psychopathy. This is a term familiar to many viewers of my channel. Almost all serial killers worldwide exhibit psychopathic traits. Psychopathy can be understood as a cold-blooded and highly impulsive personality. The most evident traits are violence, a lack of empathy or remorse, and a tendency to manipulate others. Psychopaths in society often give off a dangerous and erratic vibe. Next is narcissism. The most prominent characteristic of narcissists is their excessive self-love. They always want to be the center of attention and often view others as inferior. These individuals crave or are even addicted to being admired and flattered. In society, narcissists are often flashy, overly dramatic, and disdainful of others. They are also highly selfish. Another peculiar yet dangerous personality type is Machiavellianism. The defining trait of Machiavellians is their skill in psychologically manipulating others. They are willing to lie and deceive to achieve their goals. For them, the end justifies the means. Morality is not a concern. If these individuals are also intelligent and socially adept, they can be a nightmare to deal with. They are much harder to spot than psychopaths or narcissists. Psychopaths are often erratic and volatile, making them easier to identify. Narcissists are also relatively easy to recognize due to their self-centered and irritating behavior. However, Machiavellians are only noticeable if they are clumsy manipulators. If they are skilled, you might only realize their true nature after suffering a loss or even being falsely accused by them. Interestingly, I've learned that people who manipulate others often accuse others of manipulating them. These three personality types are not considered pathological disorders, so individuals with these traits can still function within societal and legal boundaries. They can behave appropriately if they have a clear sense of right and wrong. Recognizing these traits helps us better handle such individuals in society. Next, let's discuss antisocial personality disorder, SPD. ASPD refers to a condition where a person disregards the consequences of their actions and the rights of others. Here are 7 key signs to watch for. First, disregard for laws and frequent law breaking. Second, dishonesty, lying often, sometimes unnecessarily. Third, impulsivity, acting without considering consequences. 4, aggressiveness and violence, often labeled as hot-tempered. 5, disregard for others' safety. 6, irresponsibility, evident in behaviors like accumulating debt or abandoning plans. 7, lack of remorse, indifference after harming others, or a tendency to blame victims, claiming they provoked the harm. Most serial killers also suffer from ASPD. Finally, I want to talk about schizophrenia. This mental illness often appears in criminal cases, as many perpetrators have escaped punishment by being diagnosed with schizophrenia. This has caused public outrage in many instances. People with schizophrenia often lose touch with reality. They have poor awareness of the world around them and exhibit symptoms like delusions. There are 3 common types of delusions. First, grandiose delusions. The patient believes they are something extraordinary, like a supreme being. Second, persecutory delusions. The patient believes someone is out to harm them. Third, control delusions. The patient believes they are being controlled by an invisible force, such as demons or gods. In addition to delusions, patients may experience hallucinations, such as hearing voices that aren't there. Their thinking and speech may be disorganized, and their behavior may seem bizarre. When someone with schizophrenia commits a crime, they are not in control of their actions. Therefore, their actions are considered unintentional. Serial killers with schizophrenia are often charged with manslaughter rather than murder. They are typically confined to specialized prisons and receive treatment in mental hospitals. Now, let's move on to the main content of today's video. Small-town America is often synonymous with safety, familiarity, and the idyllic dream of close-knit communities. But beneath the peaceful facade of P Hill, a shocking crime shattered the illusion of suburban tranquility. The brutal murder of Jennifer Johnson, a beautiful and well-respected woman, unraveled a web of illicit affairs, obsession, and betrayal, culminating in a tragic love quadrangle that led to her untimely death. Jennifer and her husband, Mark Johnson, had moved to P Hill 5 years before the tragedy. They quickly became close friends with their neighbors, Daniel and Linda Kenner. Both couples appeared to lead perfect lives. Mark was a charming, outgoing man who thrived in social settings, while Jennifer's beauty and warmth made her a beloved figure in the community. Daniel, a successful architect, and Linda, a compassionate school teacher, were seen as the epitome of a stable and loving marriage. Their bond was more than just neighborly. They spent weekends together, hosted barbecues, and even vacationed as a foursome. The friendship, however, took a perilous turn when the idea of wife swapping was introduced. What started as a daring experiment soon spiraled into a dangerous game of passion and possessiveness. The idea of swapping partners wasn't an immediate scandal. What started as curiosity soon became routine. The couples had clear rules to keep emotions in check. This was just an adventurous escapade, a way to reignite the flames of their marriages. But human emotions are rarely predictable. Daniel Kenner, initially thrilled by the novelty of the arrangement, became fixated on Jennifer. Unlike his own wife, Linda, Jennifer was vibrant, exciting, and, in his mind, unattainable. What had been an agreed-upon arrangement turned into an obsession. Daniel began finding excuses to see Jennifer outside of their scheduled encounters. He would show up at her yoga class, offer to help with household chores, and send her gifts. At first, Jennifer brushed it off as friendly affection. But soon, she started feeling suffocated by his relentless attention. The thrill of their secret rendezvous was replaced by unease and fear. Linda Kenner, ever observant, noticed her husband's growing detachment. He became irritable when he couldn't see Jennifer and increasingly distant at home. Conversations that once revolved around their future now centered on trivial frustrations. When Linda confronted him, he dismissed her suspicions, accusing her of paranoia. Jennifer, too, began to notice the shift. The excitement had worn off, and she felt trapped in something far beyond her control. When she finally decided to cut ties, Daniel refused to accept it. He believed their connection was real, that their love transcended the rules they had established. In a last-ditch effort to restore normalcy, both couples planned a weekend retreat to a lakeside cabin. The goal was to reset, to put the past behind them, but Daniel had other plans. Throughout the trip, he clung to Jennifer, isolating her from the others. He insisted on taking her boating alone, leaving Mark and Linda behind. That night, as they gathered around the fire, Daniel whispered something that sent chills down Jennifer's spine. He wanted to leave everything behind and start a new life with her. Jennifer was horrified. She excused herself and went to bed early, but Linda overheard everything. That night, Linda confronted Daniel, urging him to stop before he destroyed both families. He refused to listen. The obsession had taken full control. In the days that followed, Daniel's behavior became increasingly erratic. He began stalking Jennifer, showing up at her workplace and following her around town. Desperate, Jennifer confided in Linda, revealing her fears. Linda, torn between loyalty to her husband and concern for her friend, promised to talk to Daniel. When Jennifer finally confronted Daniel, demanding that he stop, his reaction was explosive. He accused her of leading him on, of playing with his emotions. As the argument escalated, neither of them noticed Linda approaching. She had followed Daniel, sensing something was about to go terribly wrong. In that moment, Linda became the unintended witness to her husband's unraveling. She saw the rage in his eyes, the dangerous desperation in his voice. Jennifer turned to leave, but Daniel snapped. The moment she rejected him for the final time, his love turned to fury. Nobody knows exactly what happened in those final moments, but within hours, Jennifer was found dead. The community of P Hill was shaken to its core. The investigation quickly led to Daniel, whose erratic behavior made him the prime suspect. When the truth surfaced, the once respected architect was revealed to be a man who had let obsession consume him. Linda, devastated and betrayed, testified against her husband. Mark, overwhelmed with guilt for not taking Jennifer's fears seriously, was left to mourn the woman he loved. The tragedy of Jennifer Johnson's murder is not just a tale of lust and obsession, it is a cautionary story about the fragile nature of human emotions. What began as a consensual arrangement between adults ended in bloodshed. The case remains one of the most shocking crimes to emerge from small-town America, proving that even the most idyllic communities can harbor the darkest secrets. And in the end, the ultimate question lingers: was it all worth the price of a life? The story of Jennifer Johnson's murder is a chilling reminder that even the most seemingly idyllic communities can harbor dark, destructive secrets. What began as a consensual, adventurous arrangement between two couples spiraled into a deadly love quadrangle, culminating in a crime of passion that shocked the quiet town of P Hill. As a criminal psychologist, I aim to dissect the motives behind this tragedy, exploring the psychological forces that drove Daniel Kenner to commit such a heinous act. Through this analysis, I hope to shed light on the dangers of obsession, the fragility of human emotions, and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire. At first glance, P Hill was the epitome of suburban perfection. Jennifer and Mark Johnson, along with their neighbors Daniel and Linda Kenner, appeared to be living the American dream. They were successful, well-liked, and deeply integrated into their community. But beneath this veneer of normalcy lay a web of secrets, insecurities, and unspoken tensions. The decision to engage in wife swapping was initially framed as a way to reignite the spark in their marriages. It was a daring experiment, a departure from the monotony of suburban life. But what started as a consensual arrangement soon became a breeding ground for jealousy, obsession, and betrayal. The couples had established rules to keep emotions in check, but as any psychologist will tell you, human emotions are rarely so easily controlled. To understand the motives behind Jennifer's murder, we must delve into the mind of Daniel Kenner. What drove this seemingly stable, successful man to commit such a brutal act? The answer lies in the psychology of obsession, a powerful and destructive force that can consume even the most rational individuals. Daniel's obsession with Jennifer began as a fascination with the forbiddens. Jennifer was not just a neighbor, she was a symbol of everything Daniel felt was missing in his own life. Unlike his wife, Linda, Jennifer was vibrant, exciting, and seemingly unattainable. The wife-swapping arrangement provided Daniel with an opportunity to explore this forbidden's desire, but it also planted the seeds of obsession. The thrill of their secret encounters fueled Daniel's fixation. What started as a consensual arrangement soon became an all-consuming need. Daniel began to see Jennifer not as a person, but as an object of desire, a prize to be won. This dehumanization is a common psychological mechanism in cases of obsession. It allows the individual to justify their actions, to convince themselves that their feelings are justified. Daniel's obsession was also rooted in a sense of entitlement. He believed that Jennifer owed him her affection, that their connection was special and transcendent. When Jennifer began to pull away, Daniel's sense of entitlement turned to rage. He felt betrayed, as though Jennifer had taken something that was rightfully him. This sense of entitlement is a hallmark of obsessive behavior. It is rooted in a distorted sense of reality, where the individual believes that their desires take precedence over the autonomy and well-being of others. Daniel's inability to accept Jennifer's rejection was a direct result of this entitlement. As Daniel's obsession grew, so did his irrational behavior. He began stalking Jennifer, showing up at her workplace and following her around town. His actions were no longer driven by logic or reason, but by a desperate need to possess Jennifer at any cost. This descent into madness is a common trajectory in cases of obsession. The individual becomes so consumed by their fixation that they lose touch with reality. They are willing to do anything, even commit murder, to achieve their goal. For Daniel, Jennifer's rejection was the final straw. It shattered his fragile sense of control, unleashing a torrent of rage and desperation. The night of Jennifer's murder was the culmination of Daniel's obsession. When Jennifer confronted him, demanding that he leave her alone, Daniel's fragile psyche snapped. The man who had once been a respected architect was now a volatile, dangerous individual, driven by a need to possess Jennifer at any cost. The exact details of the murder remain unclear, but what is certain is that Daniel's actions were driven by a combination of rage, desperation, and a distorted sense of entitlement. He could not accept that Jennifer no longer wanted him, and in his mind, the only way to regain control was to eliminate her. The murder of Jennifer Johnson sent shockwaves through the community of P Hill. The once idyllic town was now the site of a brutal crime, and the residents were forced to confront the dark underbelly of their seemingly perfect lives. For Linda Kenner, the betrayal was devastating. She had trusted her husband, only to discover that he was capable of such a heinous act. Her decision to testify against Daniel was an act of courage, but it also marked the end of her marriage and the life she had known. Mark Johnson, too, was left to grapple with feelings of guilt and regret. He had dismissed Jennifer's fears, failing to recognize the danger that Daniel posed. His grief was compounded by the knowledge that he could have done more to protect his wife. The murder of Jennifer Johnson is not just a story of obsession and betrayal. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked desire and the fragility of human emotions. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most seemingly stable individuals are capable of great harm when driven by obsession. Daniel Kenner's descent into madness is a chilling example of the dangers of obsession. It is a reminder that unchecked desire can lead to destructive behavior, and that the line between love and obsession is often perilously thin. The wife-swapping arrangement between the two couples was initially framed as a consensual, adventurous experiment. But the lack of clear boundaries and emotional safeguards ultimately led to disaster. It is a reminder that even in consensual arrangements, boundaries must be respected, and emotions must be carefully managed. The tragedy of Jennifer Johnson's murder is a testament to the fragility of human emotions. What began as a harmless experiment soon spiraled into a deadly game of passion and possessiveness. It is a reminder that human emotions are complex and unpredictable, and that even the most seemingly stable relationships can be shattered by jealousy and betrayal. Mark Johnson's failure to recognize the danger that Daniel posed is a reminder of the importance of vigilance. It is a call to action for individuals to trust their instincts, to take threats seriously, and to protect their loved ones from harm. The murder of Jennifer Johnson is a tragedy that serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of obsession and the fragility of human emotions. It is a cautionary tale about the importance of boundaries, the need for vigilance, and the devastating consequences of unchecked desire. As we reflect on this tragedy, we must ask ourselves, was it all worth the price of a life? The answer, of course, is no. Jennifer's death is a reminder that the pursuit of passion and desire must always be tempered by respect, empathy, and a commitment to the well-being of others. In the end, the story of Jennifer Johnson's murder is not just a tale of obsession and betrayal, it is a call to action. It is a reminder that we must strive to understand the psychological forces that drive us, to recognize the dangers of unchecked desire, and to protect the ones we love from harm. Only then can we hope to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future. What are your thoughts on this case? Please leave your comments below to join the discussion. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe to my channel to continue following me in the upcoming cases. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos. Disclaimer: great effort is made to ensure all materials in true crimes videos fall within the guidelines of fair use. No copyright infringement is intended. The content presented in this video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content may discuss sensitive topics, and viewer discretion is advised. The opinions expressed in this video are those of the content creator and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated individuals or organizations. Please contact me by email crimestory060@gmail.com. Subscribe now and join us on this eye-opening journey.